Singapore Grand Prix starts, and we are looking at teams that brought upgrades and now it's going to work. The Singapore Grand Prix is one of the most anticipated Grand Prix. It's a night race and it brings a lot of excitement. The greenness, the environment, it's very beautiful. And remembering how George Russell crashed out on the last lap last year is thought-provoking. How Lance Stroll crashed out during the Q1 session of the qualifying last year. It was also given. But this year we have Sauber bringing upgrades to Singapore, which seems great. When we looked at the race in Baku, Sauber had the fastest pit stop. I looked at it and I was like, Sauber fastest pit stop. This is the same Sauber that were pit stopping close to 5-10 seconds because they cannot lose their wheel nut. Crazy, man. But now they are like blistering fastest in Baku. Red Bull has really lost it though because a lot of people have left, but let's see what is left of them. Also, we have Ferrari bringing the front wings. They were supposed to bring those front wings in Austin. They decided to bring their own flexi front wing, like the Mercedes and McLaren. They decided to split it up, bring it in Singapore so that they would have learned a lot from it because there are lots of things to learn in Singapore. And to Red Bull, I'm not sure they are bringing upgrades. They are trying to learn from the car. For me, I don't see the car performing well 100% because they are still struggling with the same issues they are struggling with, especially when the front and the rear are not correlating. Singapore is a place with very slow pit corners and some tight corners and tight chicanes in which they will have to ride cabs, and that car does not like cabs. If they're going to be riding cabs, that car will be saying no, which might slow the Red Bull down. So I believe Red Bull will still have some issues. I've not seen what McLaren brought or Mercedes, but I believe they will bring some few things in some few minutes or a few hours. We'll see what they've brought. Some are speculating Daniel Ricciardo might be leaving RB and Liam Lawson might be coming in. Well, we can't say for now, but from what we are seeing, Sergio Perez certainly may not leave Red Bull now or at the end of the season, and maybe next year if they consider something, Daniel Ricciardo might come back. But for now, I think Red Bull are now confident in thinking that yes, they should be at fault for whatever happens to Sergio Perez since 2023 because he's not a bad driver. I've been saying it, but nobody believes me. There are some races in which he really messed up, but Sergio Perez is not a bad driver. It's not the reason for the car. F1 is a crazy sport. It's a very expensive sport, so you cannot look at a driver lagging behind. It would be like something is wrong. So certainly that's one of the reasons why people are criticizing. But let's see what happens in consequent races. But it's going to be boiling with Red Bull, and I hope they are able to carry the weight of them. Also, going into this race, I hope it will be a different call. We won't just be seeing McLaren and Ferrari like we are seeing now, because there was a time we were seeing just Red Bull, but now it's McLaren and Ferrari. Hope we can have the party much more populated by having Mercedes and probably Red Bull in the fold trying to work it out. And even if they don't win, but the competition should be stiff, should be striking, we should see a lot of fights. So that's what I want to see in this game called F1. So let's see what happens as they progress in the practices. Yeah, Singapore is a beast of its own, and it's going to give the drivers a lot of challenges. And we have already seen the challenges in FP1, FP2. Seeing the upgrades that the teams brought, some bringing conformity upgrades to what is in line with track-specific upgrades, and some are bringing front wing.
It's going to be very interesting in the race. But the FP1, we can see some of these teams struggling. Williams brought upgrades, especially to their suspension. The Mercedes are changing Lewis Hamilton's setup because we were unable to do a good setup for him in the last race in Baku. They made a lot of changes, but the setup was still bad. At the end of the day, they are trying to make setup changes for him. And Mercedes have changed their energy storage and also their control electronics, which are still in conformity or still in accordance to the ones they are meant to use in the regulations this season. RB, that's a VCAP. They brought upgrades also. Also, they changed the color and it looks beautiful, but they are not on the side of their sister team that are trying to shave color from their car because they believe it's part of the things that are slowing them down. But let me be sincere with you. The paint can only add like 2-3 grams to the car. It will not slow you down, Red Bull. Red Bull, your main problem is still the main problem, the floor. I said it a lot of times last year about the Mercedes floor. Now, Red Bull are having the same issue, the floor. These cars are floor-driven cars. They suck themselves to the floor, and if you don't have the right floor to drive this car, there is no way. Believe me, there is no way. FIA have told the McLaren team to work on that rear wings that people complain, especially Red Bull complained about in Baku. That gave them the advantage that they should just close it up. They don't want to say it. Also, FIA had given Max Verstappen an obligation for community service because of the swearing words he used during the press conference. Now, during the press conference, they were asking Max Verstappen about his stance on the FIA swearing words, and he was swearing. So they called him today and they gave him the penalty as obligations that he should fulfill. But certainly they are trying to clamp down on things. Lewis Hamilton was like, the way the FIA said it, he does not like it because it looked racist. Yeah, saying they are not rappers, which means rappers are racist. I think Lewis Hamilton should douse a little bit on that, because to me, I don't think it looks racist if he's saying, yeah, because rappers, we have a lot of white rappers. Yeah, majority of rappers are blacks. We have a lot of white rappers, and if he's saying white rappers, because a lot of rappers use swear words. The FIA president is right, but he also needs to be careful with his choice of words. I mean, the FI president, he needs to be careful with his choice of words, the way he uses his words. Now, looking at the Singapore Grand Prix, the Friday practices, I can see and I can tell you that the McLaren and the Ferrari are both in contention. Those cars are fast. They are the two cars that are trying to push themselves to the limit. So it's going to be close within them. The Mercedes are sincerely nowhere to be found. The Red Bull are nowhere to be found. Those ones are even lost. The Red Bull are lost. Williams look pretty fast, though they have an upgrade, which is a suspension upgrade on Alex Albon's car. Colapinto is not carrying the same upgrade because they don't have money. They are not a big budget team, but certainly is delivering. And Colapinto is also delivering. In a race pace, they look decent, but in qualifying, they also look decent. We don't know the 4 runs in which these guys are doing, but it looks very, very close and tight-knitted amongst this team. So who will come up to show how good they are? It will depend on how these guys are able to maximize the time, their tires, and also the walls, the track, and everything to bring out the best time, and that will show tomorrow. But like I said, this is not just driver-based, it's also car-based, and it's also the street legal based, and you can still see that Sergio Perez is still ahead of Max Verstappen here, and Ricciardo is under pressure. Ricciardo is doing a good job here, though he's still some few tenths behind his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, but I'm not seeing him retaining that seat, because the way that team is, they don't want you, so it's been difficult for him to retain the seat. But certainly I think it will be a good one if we see Liam Lawson, what he can do. No bad, no regrets, nothing against Daniel Ricciardo, but let's see what that young dude can do and how he can push himself against these top guys. We can see in the last race, so the Oli Bierman, Colapinto proving their points, and Liam Lawson last year when he came did his best. So let's see what he can still do. He still has 5 races before the end of the season. Let's see what he can do. But certainly it's going to be a good one. Tomorrow we'll bring you more updates. But the only thing these teams can do, especially Red Bull and Mercedes, is to tune up the car, make it better. But on the part of the Red Bull, I think it will still be difficult for them because those curbs will suffer the car. And towards the end of the practice, we saw George Russell ramping the car into the wall. There's lots of camber and alignment differences that needs to be adjusted on those two cars to bring more balance, at least for the track. But Max Verstappen is not enjoying his time with the car. But up until tomorrow, we give you more base analysis and what will happen in the race. I love you guys. Bye.